Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. It's just after 10:30 and I need to be in bed. Seriously, oh my gosh. My day started very early and we did a ton of physical labor, which I love. Taking care of the horses and the horse stalls and everything. And sadly, I learned of a friend of mine, Michelle, whose horse absolutely kicked her in the face, like dead center in the face, shattered her face. Not even kidding. You can imagine the impact of a horse. And sadly, cut her eye to where it actually is torn. And so prayers welcome if you're a prayer person for Michelle. God is bigger. He can fix it. If you've followed me at all, you know I've been trampled more than once. I've been hospitalized more than once. We still choose to love our horses. I don't know all the circumstance, but it was Christmas Eve. And with the COVID and everything else, it is a terrible time to be doing hospitals or anything. And her face is so swollen, they can't even begin to really assess, except for they know there's a lot of shattered pieces. And then her eye. So God is bigger. Keep Michelle in your prayers. I'll keep you posted. All right, anyway, I wanted to talk about the binge-eating cycle, which is the icon for this video. And it's because I'm so dang familiar. I'm so familiar. I have been struggling with food. I got into the food, as is my pattern. I'll do well for a really long time. And I know the whole logic of the microbiome and the body's going to be screaming for it and everything, which I expected day 5, day 10. Maybe even day 15. By day 25 or so, it's more mental than physical. And when I falter, I usually get clean the very next day. And then I falter again, which has been the case. So I am just revisiting these patterns because we have to choose a better pattern to stay well. And that is absolutely my life's intention. So the one that I just shared, which was called the binge-eating cycle, and it's at what is mental illness? That is a sad thought. Do you really have to be mentally ill just because you deal with food, disordered eating? Like, does that make you mentally ill? I think it's more common than not, especially with today's designer food, which is designed to make you sick and addicted. So come on. Anyway, though, let's look at the cycle. So first, you just feel deprived. So this is that mistake of having a mindset that's talking about what you can't have rather than what you can have or what you've chosen to have. And, you know, there's so much lovely fruit, vegetables, healthy plant-based fats. And when your taste buds become pure, they far exceed any packaged nonsense ever. Like God made dessert that will always exceed the artificial nonsense that humans attempt to replicate, period. But first you feel deprived. You've accidentally fallen into that thing where everybody gets to eat that except for me. And how come they're all what I refer to as normies? And how come I can't handle just a little, the whole thing? So finally, that leads to an overwhelming urge to eat, which in my case becomes my monkey mind. Who's babysitting my rosary. I don't want to say that I tied the monkey up, like bound the monkey in prayer, but I did say babysit my rosary and make good choices. Thank you very much. Anyway, yeah, so this overwhelming urge to eat. Are you hungry? No. Are you depleted of minerals and micronutrients? No. It's a mental nightmare, but an overwhelming urge to eat. Finally, you have the episode, whatever that binge eating episode looks like. And that kind of depends on each person and what they've decided is their forbidden fruit, if you will. And it's most likely not fruit. But whatever it is, whatever they've decided for themselves is being off plan, okay? Because that varies, that varies for everybody. So finally, whatever it looks like, one bite, one small country, you have a binge eating episode, and that leads to you feel out of control, because again, you had a plan, you were absolutely going to stick to it, you knew exactly what you needed to do or not do, and you fell off that plan. So feeling out of control, feeling guilt, shame, frustration. I mean, and that's just a couple of them, right? And from there, it goes to all those promises of starting that diet, of restriction to regain control. Deciding you're never going to eat again. You're certainly never going to have that again, whatever it is, right? You're never going to bloat again. You're never going to have it again. 1 second, please. And then sadly, of course, it leads right back to the cycle. Hence the reason it's called a cycle. You get back to that feeling deprived. Unless, of course, you have a new mindset, which is so important. I had done this post on Facebook and it resonated with a lot of people. And it was, hold on, I'm not even going to guess. 1 second. Okay, so what it said was, when you replace, why is this happening to me, with, what is this trying to teach me? Everything shifts. So true, right? From that victim stance to the proactive wanting to understand. Oh my gosh, it does change so much. So that kind of is what reminds me of this. Yes, it will become cyclical and continue until you change that mindset of, instead of feeling deprived of what you can't have, rejoicing in what you're choosing, proactively choosing to have, to enhance your health, to enhance your life. You know, I watch that 600-pound life sometimes, and I'm always just like, I'm praying throughout, of course, that the person does get the help that they need. But it just reminds me so completely of how lovingly the body will accommodate whatever it is and however much we choose to eat, right? I mean, I see a lot of people saying, well, what am I supposed to do? Now I have excess skin and I'd rather stay fat than have loose skin. Well, the skin is really good about accommodating obesity and massive obesity. Praise God. Could you imagine if at some point, and granted, there are stretch marks, which is a form of ripped skin, but if your skin literally ripped at a certain, like, what if you didn't even know what weight it was, that your skin finally said, sorry, I can't stretch anymore, and like was tearing beyond stretch marks, right? Could you freaking imagine? So the skin is very kind and giving, and the body will accommodate mostly whatever it is we're willing to eat. Unfortunately, when we deflate ourselves, it can't catch up as quickly. Anyway, that was just a side note, because I was seeing this entire talk on all these people saying, you know, I have this skin and that and da-da-da, and I'd rather stay fat than have loose skin, and just this whole talk. And I thought, you know, what a tremendous blessing that when you needed it most, your skin readily accommodated your excessiveness, right? And by your, I mean me. Are you kidding me? Anyway, so once again, I'm mostly talking to myself, but I just need to remind myself of what this process is. That initial feeling of being deprived, going into an overwhelming urge to eat, that monkey mind going crazy. The binge eating episode, no matter how minor, whatever it is that you've done to disappoint yourself regarding food. Finally, the feeling of being out of control, the guilt, the shame, the frustration. And then ultimately, the empty promises and making that decision that you are going to diet and restrict and regain control starting tomorrow. And then finally, letting your guard down and starting it all over again, unless there's that change in mindset. And that's what I would really highly recommend, is reflecting on approaching it with a different mindset. What is life trying to teach me in this moment, right? What food have I chosen for my higher self, to live on a higher vibration, to eat to live rather than living to eat, right? Okay, yay, I said that right. Anyway, interesting talk, my friends. Let me know what you know about the binge cycle. Are you willing and able to change that initial mindset before that first compulsive bite of not feeling deprived, but feeling blessed over best choices, right? Again, I'm talking to myself and desperately need to be in that frame of mind. All right, my friends, like if you like, join us if you haven't, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below how I may support you. And until we talk again, which will be tomorrow, praise God on New Year's Eve, unless you live somewhere else. Know that you are blessed. Oh, and pray for Michelle.